Hi, welcome. It's Margaret. Today we're talking about mirrors, feng shui in relations to mirrors. Is there any significant relationship between that? So let's get started. In interior decorating, mirrors are usually used to open up a small and narrow or dark interiors. Now, it is more of a decorative element and it's used to reflect light, to visually probably enlarge a space, make a space more interesting, feel that the particular niche, maybe that area is also dark. So that's the function of mirror. It's basically to actually enlarge a space or to reflect light. But when the subject of feng shui comes into play or comes into consideration, the most common misconception about mirrors is that it is used to reflect qi. Now, mirrors, like all paintings and art, holds no feng shui significance to a home's interior other than that of a psychological one. So, where did all this talk about the mirror reflecting qi come from? You start to wonder. So, back in the olden days, mirrors were not actually made of glass but of brass. Now, the ancient texts refer to it as using the mirror to steal water or to bring in water, which is qi, is what we're studying in feng shui, into the house via the mirror, by use of the mirror. So the real explanation to this is a little bit more scientific. So mirrors back then, again, were made of brass, which is of the metal element. Now, metal in the study of the feng shui, in the study of 5 elements, produces or attracts water. Now, it is common then in the old days to find that the mirror are placed at the front of houses, and this is specifically to attract qi to the house. So, what is actually the real deal of the placement of a mirror in the hallway, or what happens? Is anything significant if we put a mirror in front of the main door? So there's really, in terms of feng shui, there's really nothing wrong with a main door that opens to a mirror in the hallway. So as mentioned earlier, it may likely cause some psychological impact as people may be caught by a surprise of seeing themselves or a shock when they open the door to see themselves reflected in the mirror, especially, like if it's in the evening or something like that as well. Therefore, again, it has no real qi effect at all in the context of feng shui. Well, in terms of main door area in feng shui, you need to have sort of like a bright hole. So this bright hole is actually considered good if you have it externally and internally. So what happens if what you have is a tight, narrow, small entryway or small foyer, and what if upon entering you feel like you're faced with a wall, like you're kind of blocked? Well, then the mirror will be a perfect solution and a cost-effective way to resolve some of these challenges. So a mirror's functionality and purpose can be as such. It can be used to reflect light, can be used to brighten a dark space. It can also make a space look more, spacious, make you feel that you're not stuck. Optically, you feel the expanse from what's reflected in the mirror. So it also make a yin area, a more yang, especially if it's a dark entryway. And lastly, but it might also serve as a protection because you can actually see who's behind you. When you're entering, when you're on your own, and you don't always look to your back or anything like that, but the mirror can actually reflect whoever is behind you, so in some sort of way it can act like more of a protection. So that's more of a mirror's functionality and purpose. Now, so remember in the olden days that the mirror was specifically used to draw qi into the house, and now what happens, and you might have a problem if you can't even get qi to even enter your home, right? So if you don't even have a nice bright hole in the front, or in the main door area, so that's more of a problem because qi can't enter your home. Okay, so again, no, in feng shui the mirror is not used to reflect qi. Also, mirrors like all paintings and artwork, as I said earlier, holds no feng shui significance to a home interior other than that of a psychological one. Now, that being said, there are a few things that you must remember when using a mirror in your home interiors. So, firstly, make sure they're not cut up into small pieces as it creates a distorted image. So, you don't want your reflection in small little bits and pieces, which is not really, a positive, or it's not really auspicious, right? So, that's one of the main thing that you have to remember. Mirrors such as this, or mirrors such as this, that kind of divides you up and gives you more of a distorted image of what's being reflected, especially if it's that of a person. Now, there's another rule that you actually have to remember, and that is not to position or place your mirror in such a way that the head of the tallest person in the home is cut off. So you have to make sure you place them properly. You don't want the tallest person standing in front of the mirror and he or she can't even see his or her own face or head. Okay, so that's a no-no. Okay, so you have to be careful about that. So there are different types of mirrors out there, but again, just remember those rules that I just mentioned. And again, feng shui in terms of reflecting qi, that's not in feng shui doesn't say that. So. Please join me again in my other video, my other next video. I would also be putting out maybe 2 more videos on feng shui misconceptions about mirrors. And I would like to thank you again for joining me in this particular video.